So this is going to be my last confirmation video that I make.
This is Teaching for Women. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord! To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not lights. As if a man died, flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not lights, even very dark, and no brightness in it? I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. But yet judgment run down as water, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Cheam, your images, the star of your God, which you made to yourselves. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, said the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts, Jehovah. Woe to you who desire the day of the Lord! If you're not keeping the 10 Commandments, eating clean, and fulfilling the royal law, you're not his peculiar people, zealous of good works. Do you know what the Bible tells us how to recognize a false prophet? If what they say does not come to pass, we shall not fear them. Jeremiah 23. Verse 15, therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink the waters of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own hearts, and not out of the mouth of the Lord Jehovah. They say still unto them that despise me, the Lord hath said, ye shall have peace. And they say unto every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. You're going to be raptured. For who has stood in the counsel of the Lord and hath perceived and heard his word? Who hath marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent those prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned from their evil ways and from their evil of their doings, keeping the 10 Commandments, entering into life, what Yeshua told the rich man in Matthew 19. what was prophesied for him to preach and give us in Deuteronomy 18, refreshing the covenant at Horeb, Acts 3, Deuteronomy chapter 5, to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5 through 25, and it will be your righteousness to keep those 10 commandments. The mercy that his son performed in Luke chapter 1, verse 72, Daniel chapter 9, which you mentioned in your Bible. You didn't even catch on what Jehovah was showing you. The mercy that he performed and the covenants that the Messiah would remember that he was prophesied to give us. Daniel chapter 9, verse 4. Keeping covenants and mercy with those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9 and 10. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, the covenants that he was prophesied to give us, the covenants that sanctified him in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 29, the covenant that you should not tread underfoot the Son of Man and count the covenant that he was sanctified in and call it an unholy thing and then sin despite on his spirit of grace. What is sin? The transgression of the law. What is the law? Yeshua's 2 commandments in Matthew 22, where all the law and prophets hang on those 2 commandments. Refreshing the covenant at Horeb. To love God is to keep the 10 commandments, Deuteronomy chapter 6. Love your neighbor, Leviticus 19, 15 through 18, to rebuke sin, so your neighbor does not suffer sin upon them. The royal law in James 2. Not new commandments, but commandments from the beginning, to love one another and walk after the commandments. 2 John chapter 1. Because you don't have the love of God in you, you go after your own lustful heart's desire, desiring the day of the Lord. What is it to you? Giving people false hope, no harm will come to them, offering them false peace. Prophesying onto you that make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart and not out of the mouth of the Lord. They say still unto them that despise me, the Lord has said, you shall have peace. And they say unto everyone that walketh after the imagination of their own hearts, no evil shall come upon you. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God after off? Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? I have heard what the prophets said, that prophecy lies in my name, saying, I have dreams. How long shall it be in the hearts of the prophets that prophecy lies? Yes, they are prophets of the deceit of their own hearts, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man and his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for the name Baal, Jesus Christ. Hosea 2, and he will take the name Balaam from your mouth, and you will no longer remember it. Do you know that in the latter days, there would be lying signs and wonders that, if it were possible, would deceive the elect? Is it not prophecy that the whole world will be deceived?